In a quiet German neighborhood, a small boy steps out the front door alone. Backpack on. No adult beside him. He crosses at the crossing, waves to a neighbor, and walks himself to school. He's not a teenager. He's barely out of his early years. In some countries, a parent who allowed this would get worried looks. Or even a knock from the authorities. In Germany, it's so normal that around 3 out of 4 primary school children walk to school on their own. To outsiders, it can look almost careless. But it isn't carelessness at all. It's a deliberate, deeply held idea about what childhood is for. And it might just be the most important lesson in this entire series. Part 1, a word with no easy translation. You remember Felix. A few years ago, we met him as a muddy 6-year-old in a forest kindergarten. He's older now, and walking to school by himself. Behind that simple walk is a word English doesn't really have. Selbstständigkeit. Roughly, self-reliance. Standing on your own. In Germany, this isn't a personality trait some kids happen to have. It's something parents actively, patiently build. One American journalist who raised her kids in Berlin was stunned by it. German parents, she noticed, don't hover. They don't follow children around the playground. They let kids go places alone, and even handle real risks. She wrote a whole book on it, arguing these children grow into more resilient, more responsible adults. The German bed is simple, and a little terrifying to other parents. The way you teach a child to handle the world is to actually let them handle it. Part 2, the freedom to take real risks. And, handling it, in Germany can look surprisingly bold. In a German forest kindergarten, you'll see children using real tools. Climbing real trees. Whittling with real knives. Lighting and tending small fires, supervised, but real. To many parents elsewhere, that sounds reckless. To Germans, it's the entire point. Because risk isn't the enemy of safety. Managed risk is how a child learns to be safe. A child who's never allowed near a knife doesn't become a careful adult, just an inexperienced one. Researchers back this up. When you remove a child's chance to take small risks, you don't protect them, you quietly rob them of the practice they need to judge danger, solve problems, and trust themselves. So when German children climb a little too high, the adults often do the hardest thing of all. They watch. They breathe. And they let the child figure it out. Part 3, the freedom to fail. But independence isn't only about physical risk. It's about something even harder for parents to allow. The freedom to fail. Germans have a word for this, too, Fehlerkultur. Literally, error culture. It's the idea that mistakes aren't shameful things to hide, but useful information to learn from. In a healthy error culture, a mistake isn't the end of the conversation. It's the start of a better one. Think about what that does to a childhood. If failing a test, or building something that collapses, isn't treated as a disaster, then a child is free to try, stumble, adjust, and try again. That's not lowering the bar. It's how real competence is actually built. Not by avoiding every mistake, but by learning to recover from them. A child raised this way grows up with a quiet, durable confidence. Not, I never fail, but I can handle it when I do. Part 4, freedom isn't the same as neglect. Now, let's be careful here, because this is easy to misread. German independence is not the same as leaving kids to fend for themselves. That little boy walking to school. His parents didn't just push him out the door and hope. They practiced the route with him, again and again. They taught him the crossing. They quizzed him until he was ready. That's the real formula, and it's subtle. Freedom and responsibility, handed over together, one step at a time. It's not the absence of parenting. It's a more patient, more demanding kind. The slow work of making yourself, bit by bit, unnecessary. And it's worth being honest, this is easier in Germany than in many places. Safer streets, walkable towns, a culture that agrees on it. Even traffic laws that protect children and cyclists. You can't always copy the freedom without the structures that make it safe. But the underlying principle travels anywhere. Trust, given deliberately, is how children learn to be trustworthy. Part 5, What the Whole World Was Trying to Teach Us. And here, at the end, all our journeys start to rhyme. Look back at everywhere we've been. Finland trusted its teachers, and dropped the tests and inspectors. The Netherlands trusted children with a voice, and parents with time. Germany trusts kids to walk alone, take risks, and fail safely. And even Korea, pushing so hard, out of so much love, shows us the same truth from its painful flip side. What happens when trust is replaced by fear, and childhood by pressure? Different countries. Different methods. One quiet thread running through all of it. The strongest childhoods aren't the most controlled ones. They're the ones where children are trusted. To play, to speak, to choose, to risk, to fail, and to grow. Not because adults stopped caring. But because, at some point, real love has to loosen its grip. And say, I believe you can. Ending. So why do German parents let their children take risks? Because they understand something it's easy to forget. In a world obsessed with safety, scores, and getting ahead, you cannot raise a capable adult by managing every moment of a childhood. At some point, a child has to cross the street alone. Climb the tree. Make the mistake. Find out they survived it. That walk to school isn't the absence of care. It's one of the deepest expressions of it. A parent saying, quietly, go on. I trust you. And maybe that's the real blueprint. Hiding underneath every country we've visited. We spend so much energy trying to give our children a perfect childhood. But what if the greatest gift was never control? And always trust?